Hello, everybody. How are you? Oh, I'm hearing an echo. Are you all hearing an echo? I don't like it. You just let me know if you're hearing an echo, and I'm going to try and fix it. Yes? Okay. Hold on 1 second. There's a lot that's not going right. How about now? Still an echo? No, I'm still hearing an echo. What about now? Nope. How's that? Any better? I don't like it. Why is it causing me problems? It wasn't causing me problems earlier. Check. Check. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2. Is that good? Yes? I sure hope so. I don't know anymore. See, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change this from StreamYard to OBS. Because, StreamYard's caused me a lot of problems service-wise. Are you all seeing me pretty clearly for the most part? Hopefully, maybe. Really trying to get into the OBS side of things. I may have to make changes mic-wise as we change the different situation, you know, the different scenes for the different stuff that we're doing. I am so confused as to why it's not popping your stuff up. So give me 1 second. Let me see if I can fix that. I appreciate your patience with me as I work on this. Because what I'd like it to do is I'd like it to actually bring up your chat. Ah, there it is! Ha! I did it! I did it. Oh, man, look at you all up there on the screen with me. How nice is that? How nice is that? And I just hope that it changed. It did. Good. Sweet. All right. So hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Night Court. It's in doggone session. I surely appreciate the fact that you all are patient with me. So thank you very, very, very much. All right. Let's see here. Now, the real test is when we actually get into the trial and things like that. But we'll see. We'll see. Is this gonna... No. See, that's my downside, is that I can't really call people out right now. So I'm still working on that. I'm working on how to call chat out. And so we'll get there. One step at a time, one step at a time. So let's say hello to everybody who's been here. Hello, Indy Cindy. Thank you for tuning in. Llama is here. Amy, hello. Wendy, hi. I hope you're feeling better. Buffy, Angie, who else we got going on? Who else is here? Bells, hello, how are you? Oh, we got the usual suspects. That's what we got. Aw, Amos, hi. Hope you're feeling good. Debbie, hi Debbie. Thanks for being here. So nice to see you all up on the screen alongside of me. I will try and find a better way to display those, but we're getting there one step at a time, and provided that I don't look choppy and provided that my audio sounds great, wonderful. I am going to try and change this doggone, because I am hearing an echo myself, and I do not know why. I'll figure that out one day. But until then. How about now? You guys still getting an echo? Just trying to figure this out. Thank you for being my guinea pigs. Thank you for being my guinea pigs. Y'all are really cute guinea pigs. So we are doing... Okay, no echo. Perfect. We're going to do some fun, silly, stupid news. We're going to get into the trial, of course. Hey, Jaded, how are you? Can you all... I don't know if you all can hear this. Tell me if you can hear this, because I need my sound effects.
Welcome to the party, pal!
So you tell me if you heard that sound effect. And if that's the case, yay. I'm just waiting for hopefully a yes. Yes! Things are working. Yay. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. Look, I consider myself technologically savvy. But OBS is a whole nother ballgame for me. So we're working this out. Figuring this out. It's a whole process. So I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. My weekend was No microphone. I will not have hardware issues tonight, just software. My weekend was mascotting and hanging out and stuff. Jaded, of course we're going to send good vibes your way. Absolutely. And hopefully a few laughs too tonight. So, yay! Yeah, we'll send some good vibes your way, of course. That's what this community's for. That's what we do. It's what we do. So we're going to do a little bit of silly, ridiculous news. And then we're going to move on into, we're going to move right on into the trial. I know that there's only one night court this week, and probably for the foreseeable future, I'm needing to pull back a little bit. I'm finding myself being really tired. Hopefully on the weeks that I don't have mascotting in the weekend, I'll be able to do an extra one. I am just on the struggle bus. I strug to funk. I don't think that's what kids say anymore, but here we are. All right. So, how about we hop into the news? What do you think? Let's do it.
Just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles. Really, sometimes I don't watch the news.
Because we see this dude every day. I mean, every day.
I didn't make this kid pass out on my floor. People wanted to beat me.
Oh, it's just like, dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just
Customer out here, what's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Where are your parents?
I have no idea if you could hear any of that. Oh, good grief. Did you hear the audio? Because I couldn't hear it, and I'm not sure why. I'll have to fix that, but... Again, just trying these things out. Oh, you heard it. Okay, good. Wonderful. Yay! Well, guess what? It's time for Stupid News. Welcome to Night Court. This is what we do. So the first one that I found that happened years ago, because that's how things go. Dolphins deliberately get high on pufferfish nerve toxins by carefully chewing and passing them around. It's a chew-chew pass. It's not as, I love, it's not as catchy as Puff Puff Pass, but here we are, right? Here we are. So extraordinary scenes filmed for new documentary show the marine mammals in their natural habitats. Dolphins are thought of as one of the most intelligent species in the animal kingdom, and experts believe they have put their ingenuity to use in the pursuit of getting high. In extraordinary scenes filled for a new documentary, young dolphins were seen carefully manipulating a certain kind of pufferfish, which, if provoked, releases a nerve toxin. Now, large doses of this toxin can be deadly. In small amounts, though, it's known to produce a narcotic effect. Because, of course, the dolphins appeared to have worked out how to make the fish release just the right amount. Carefully chewing on the puffer and passing it between one another, the marine mammals then enter what seems to be a trance-like state. Quote, "This was a case of young dolphins purposefully experimenting with something we know to be intoxicating. After chewing the puffer gently and passing it around, they began acting most peculiar words. hanging around with their noses at the surface as if fascinated by their own reflection. Oh, they're using the pufferfish, and it's going to be in the episode of the series, which I'm going to have to find and get back to you on that. Yo, but dolphins have all kinds of problems. You all have said it. Dolphins are perverts. Dolphins puffer pass. Yes, Wendy, that's perfect. Puffer pass. I like that a lot. Just a lot happening. It's I mean, you know, pretty soon some downbeat dolphins are gonna do a war on pufferfish, and then it'll end up spilling over into being illegal, and then they'll get arrested and put in dolphin jail, and then Aquaman will have to come in and save the day. And oh man, dolphins, what are you gonna do? All right, here we go. As if you needed one more reason to think women were incredibly powerful, a woman delivered her own baby in a car traveling at 60 miles per hour. A woman gave birth to her daughter at 60 miles per hour as her partner sped through flooded roads trying to reach a hospital in Cumbria. Chiara Musetti, 28, was just minutes away from Furness General Hospital when baby Sienna popped out as her partner, James Spence, 32, rounded a roundabout. Apparently the G-force just... Sienna was born at 3:30 a.m. on the 24th of February, weighing 8 pounds and is doing really well. Miss Massetti described the moment she gave birth to her second child in the passenger seat of the couple's BMW 3 Series. Tough. We were about 10 minutes from the hospital when my waters broke. Then I knew the birth was going to happen pretty quickly. About 5 minutes later, her head started coming out. I had to sit up in the chair, take my seatbelt off, and pull my leggings down. She just fell out, and I had to catch her in my arms. What? I think it was the roundabout. I do think it was the roundabout. Amos, it makes even my pelvic floor ache, for sure. And Bells, yes, absolutely. What's up, Andrew? Welcome back to the show.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Let's see. When the baby came out, there were 3 people screaming in the car, myself, Kiara, and the baby that had just been born, her husband said. I didn't keep calm at all. It was the most intense experience of my life, but worth it. The couple said their first child's birth began prematurely while they were attending a wedding in Manchester, so they weren't surprised that their second child's birth also proved eventful. Oh, good grief. Wowzers. That's all I could say to that. Wowzers. All right, so... May 18th, 2024. We don't have enough going on in the world. So in Kyle, Texas, how many people named Kyle can fit in one place? For one Texas city? Not enough. Another attempt by the city of Kyle. Wait, they've done this more than once.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Another attempt by the city of Kyle, Texas to break the world record for the largest gathering of people with one name fell short, despite 706 Kyles of all ages turning up at a park in the suburbs of Austin. Oh, y'all. The crown is currently held by a town in Bosnia. Oh, outdone by Bosnia. That got 2,325 people named Ivan together. In 2017, according to the Guinness World Records. The crown is currently held by a town in Bosnia that got 2,325 people named Ivan together. We need to work on this. Kyle, Texas, get your shit together. It's not the first time the Kyles have come gunning for the Ivans. Last year, the official count at what has become known as the Gathering of the Kyles clocked in at 1,490 in the fast-growing Texas city that is about 37 miles south of Austin, the state's capital. Kyle is not a chart topper among popular names, but it's ranked 416th. Good luck. Ivan ranked 153. I think that might be the only time. Well, Kyle, Texas, good luck next time. Oh, well. Wendy. If they tried to get Wendy's together, it would be 9 middle-aged women at a donut social after Sunday service. There is nothing wrong with that. Let's see. You asked, I deliver. It's in 2024 is the 18th most popular name for boys, Amos. 18th. Mine is 11th. Pya, take that. All right, I forgot you guys could see me searching. All right, up next. Up in smoke. Workers removed dozens of apparent marijuana plants from Wisconsin capital, Wisconsin. I did not plan for this. This is called a 30-second news search. I will never be lacking for news. Workers remove dozens of apparent marijuana plants from a Wisconsin Capitol tulip garden. This is ridiculous. This was May 17th. Someone's plans to harvest dozens of apparent marijuana plants grown in the Wisconsin State Capitol grounds have gone up in smoke. Knee slapper. Knee slapper. You are seeing jumping people on the screen, Miss Sandra Oliver. You are. Because it's stupid news, and those people are doing stupid things. The plant sprouted in a tulip garden outside the Capitol. Tatiana Warwick, a spokesman for the State Department of the Administration, told the Associated Press in an email Friday that workers had removed the plants, but that her agency couldn't determine if they were marijuana or hemp. Both are forms of cannabis, but only marijuana has the compound that gets people high. Thank you for the clarification. Warwick didn't respond to questions about how the plants might have made it into the garden. I think it's just Johnny Forget to Seed. That's the high version of Johnny Appleseed. Johnny Forget to Seed. Just they really do, Amos. There is con and sin in there. Yay, science! Anyway, she said there were dozens of the plants in the garden, suggesting someone planted them intentionally. It was just a large number of plants for it to be anything accidental. I think it was a bird. It must have been an owl. Marijuana is illegal in all forms in Wisconsin, which is exactly why it was planted right in front of the Capitol. Put it together, y'all. Assembly Republicans introduced a bill last session that would have legalized marijuana for medical purposes. That seems backwards. But they couldn't muster support. Their state Senate counterparts, and the measure never got a hearing. That's everything's ass backwards in Wisconsin. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm reading a message. Wendy, one time my grandma found my brother's weed in peat pots outside his window. She didn't know what they were and watered them for him while he was on vacation. Oh, he told that story at her funeral? That's something I would totally do, 100%. Oh my God. Oh, so if you wanted to be tortured just a little bit more, everybody, here you go. Disobey Tesla at your own risk. Tesla tries to give its drivers all sorts of cues and clues about how to use the technology in futuristic vehicles, but humans are often inclined to ignore instructions to see what happens. This is what we like to say, FAFO. The divide between Tesla's user guides and how drivers use Teslas is so notable, federal investigators cited it as a critical safety gap when launching a recent probe into a Tesla recall. Which brings us to a California woman who said she found herself stuck inside her Tesla at a Chick-fil-A parking lot while installing a vehicle update. The TikToker, who is also named, of course, their TikToker, Brianna Janelle, on her page, said she installed software update 2024.3.10, which was estimated to take 24 minutes, but ended up taking around 40. Afraid to damage her car, she decided not to use the manual exit and wait out the process. Inside my car, it's 103 degrees, so I'm slightly freaking out. I hope I don't... Mascot. Child's play. I hope I don't run out of air. That's a problem, Janelle said in the initial video posted last month. Quote, I can't open up the doors or the windows, otherwise I could potentially damage my car. So I'm just stuck in here roasting like a frickin' chicken, dripping sweat. Your first problem was downloading it at a Chick-fil-A. Second problem is you have a car that you just can't get out of for fear of damaging it. Jesus. A message displayed on the screen of the car said that driving and charging were disabled until the update was complete. She advised viewers not to make the same mistake she did. My Chick-fil-A order has been... Is this really the problem with you? My Chick-fil-A order's been done for 30 minutes. I'm literally sitting outside, she said. In a follow-up video, she notified her followers that safety regained access to her vehicle and turned on air conditioning. The interior temperature had reached 115 degrees. Oh, boy. I literally made it out of my car. Look, I'm sweating, she said. The AC has never felt so good, and I've never felt better. I feel like I just took a bath. Those things don't go together at all. I think this is ridiculous that you're afraid to mess up your car when you get out because it's a... Apparently there's other places that have the electronic interior door release. I don't know if I agree with some of that stuff. Let's see, what's here? I will continue to have it for years and years. Do not update it when you're sitting in the car. Stick to updating it at 2 a.m. like I used to do. Tesla recommends pulling up the manual door release found in front of the window switches in the unlikely situation Model Y has no power. Normal operation of the door lowers the windows slightly every time the door is opened, and it raises when it's closed to avoid damage from the door frame. This is ridiculous. The manual release while opening the car does not lower the window. It's unclear whether the car windows would lower in this particular circumstance. I mean, I don't know. Tesla's already got their money, so I'm just not convinced. Everybody, I'm just not convinced. I'm not gung ho about it. I think that it's ridiculous. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. I'd like to maintain. It's like buying a house and having an HOA that's overbearing. It's like, I want to be able to take care of my house because I bought it. Sorry. So I'm sure there's good reasons for it, but I'm not a fan. So I would prefer to be able to handle my car how I see fit without being told how to. Says the guy who's stuck on social media all the time. Oh, man, but that being said. You smell a skunk. Hey, Sam, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the party, pal.
We were just talking about something that... What I just said. So, I think we should probably hop right into court. I think that's a good idea tonight. I think we're going to finish day 4, I believe. Yep, we're going to finish day 4, probably pop into day 5, and have some fun. So let's go ahead and go in court, shall we? Oh boy. There's so much happening right now in my head. Oh, let's get you guys back up here. It's all new to me. Hey, look, there you are. And here I am. And I'm going to move myself to right about here. All right, there we go. Oh, y'all. Wowzers. Time for Chazzle Dazzle. Here's hoping that I can hear this. Give me 1 second. I can. Can you hear it? Oh, nobody can hear it. It's decided to go to the next video. What is happening? 1 second. That's not what I want at all. There we go.
cross-examination.
Detective, those photographs of Mr. Halderson came from an ex-girlfriend
Correct.
who contacted you.
Can you hear that?
I forget how contact was made, whether she contacted us or we contacted her. I don't recall.
So part of the investigation was certainly contacting people who know or knew of Mr.
Correct.
Halderson, correct?
Yes.
Nothing else, thank you.
It could be louder. All right, hold on one second.
No. Detective, you may return back to council table. Thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney Brown or Raymond?
How's that?
State would next call Warden Ryan Caputo.
Like better, like no problem hearing it?
Good afternoon, sir. If you believe you can do so safely and responsibly, testifying without your mask would be our preference, but you're not forced to. That will be up to you.
Okay, I'll leave it on. Thank you.
Very good. Please proceed.
All right. Good afternoon. Could you please state your name, spelling both your first and last for the record?
Ryan Caputo, RyanCaputo,
How are you employed?
with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources as a conservation warden.
As a conservation warden. And is that a sworn member of law enforcement?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to pull that mic just a little bit closer.
Okay.
There's
Is this better?
fans, yes.
Okay.
And in mid-July, July 14th to be exact, of 2021, were you working in your capacity as a DNR warden?
Yes.
And on that day, what was your assigned tasks or duties?
To help out the Dane County Sheriff's Office with searching a piece of state property for any evidence associated with the Halderson case.
Okay. And how did that search go about? How many coworkers were with you, and what was the plan?
As far as how many people were there, I don't remember. There were 3 other wardens that were there, and the plan was just to divide it up into 3 different parcels, essentially, and search those thoroughly, and I searched the southernmost area.
And how do you search those areas thoroughly?
By walking through them and trying to stay as close as possible to each other to make sure that you're not missing anything that might be between each other.
Okay. Just what is that area? How would you describe it to somebody who had never been there?
Yeah, it's part of the Lower Wisconsin Riverway, so it's just wildlife area. A lot of trees, some open grassland type of stuff, and it leads up to the river. Pretty thick with weeds that time of year, in July. A lot of smartweed, pretty thick area overall.
Is it open to the public, private, or something else?
It's public land and is open to the public.
Okay. What sort of things do people use that land for if they visit it, if you know?
A lot of times it's hiking or going over to the river to go fishing, maybe even sightseeing, seeing bald eagles and so on. And then, any other use somebody could think of for it, I guess.
Okay. And then the winter, there's snowmobile trails in that area?
Yep, there's a snowmobile trail that runs through it.
Okay. And what town is it located near?
Well, it's located, I guess, in the town of Roxbury for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of different sections of it, but the biggest city would be Sauk City or Prairie du Sac.
Okay. And the search took place on July 14th?
Yes.
I'm going to have you look over. There's a large photograph there. Is that part of the area that you searched?
Yes.
So we're going to do this a little bit differently today. In order for the jury to see more detail on the photos, we're actually going to hand everyone out a copy. I will go over the exhibits though first, and I'm going to present one of these pamphlets to you to make sure that the exhibits are what is in this booklet.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes.
I'm going to present you with exhibits 125 through 131, just as a group in one sentence, not individually. How would you describe exhibits 125 through 131? You can look through them. That's perfectly fine.
So you want me just to describe it as a group, as to just...
Yep. What are those photos of?
This is just a representation of the area that we searched as well as what we found.
Okay. And that on the July 14th, 2021 search?
Correct.
And do those appear to be true and accurate photos of that what you saw that day?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, I would move exhibit 125 through, you got these all out of order for me, 131.
No objection.
No objection.
Okay,
They are received
now,
into evidence.
Let's put them in order.
There you go.
Okay. Now what I need you to do is, I'm giving you one of these booklets. I want you to just compare and make sure that the 125 here is what is 125 in the booklet.
To the best of my knowledge, it is, yes.
Okay, and let's continue on.
Same thing for 126. 127 looks to be correct. 128 looks to be correct. 129 looks to be correct. 130 looks to be correct. And 131 looks to be correct.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I would ask to distribute booklets containing exhibits 125 through 131 to each member of the jury.
Folks, we are doing this, or I should say the state is doing this in a slightly different procedure than other exhibits. And obviously, as you may gather, similarly to the presentation yesterday, I think the state intends to demonstrate a step-by-step look of the discovery, culminating in what was discovered, which of course becomes the most or more sensitive or disturbing of the photos. You'll have these in front of you instead of on the screen. The same admonition that I gave yesterday applies today. You have to be able to have said you saw it. But whether you then look away, close the booklet, look at the picture, examine, that's solely up to your discretion as a juror. I will only say this, don't turn ahead. And if you are going to engage in a closing of the booklet and then reopening to the next page, just make sure your hand stays in the proper place so that you know that I have to turn one more page and that you're not stumbling or going ahead, because I believe the state does want to present these to you in the order prepared in the booklet. You won't be keeping the booklets. They'll be returned when we're finished with this exhibit, but we're anticipating that this is an alternate method of showing things to you that we're going to attempt at this time. Go right ahead.
Yes, should allow for more detail observation. The exhibit number is in the lower right-hand corner. If you would take one and pass them on.
Whenever you're ready, counsel. Or were you going to take oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I look up, I'll actually see that we're still distributing. Thanks. Go right ahead.
All right. Warden, I would ask that you look at Exhibit 125, and could you explain to the jury what picture 125 is of?
The picture 125 is an aerial photo of, on the center of it you can see where the body parts are located that myself and Kevin Gruber, who were part of the search party, what we located. the larger group of it, there's still another piece of human remains that were found that would be, if you're looking at the picture, if you look above it, you see a gap, it would be to the right of that, somewhere in that area. But this is the largest grouping, that red spot that you see.
And at this point, what did you think that red area was? Did you know when you first began?
Yes, when I approached it, I saw toes and a foot and part of a leg and so on, so I knew I had found human remains at that point.
Okay. Let's turn the page to Exhibit 126. Could you please describe for the jury what 126 displays?
Same thing as I had described before.
So again, the search area.
Correct. The search area, what we had located, and maybe a little bit of better definition, a different angle for sure. And this obviously just a little bit shortly after we had located the parts.
Okay. And let's flip the page to page 127. What area in Exhibit 127 is the remains, or how would you describe it?
Where you see the person wearing blue at the bottom of the photograph, kind of towards the center of it. If you go up on the page, you see a green tree, and then above that you see, I'd say it looks red in the photograph. You can see an outline, or you can see a human leg in there.
Okay. And let's flip to page 128. How would you describe Exhibit 128?
What I had found for human remains.
Okay, just a closer up view.
Correct.
And at this point, did you think it was one leg, two legs, or something else?
I didn't stick around long enough to figure it out.
Sure. And why was that?
Because it's gross.
Fair enough. You called the medical examiner.
Correct.
And
I
others.
notified the sheriff's office what I had located, and it's theirs to take over from that point.
Sure. Exhibit 129, is that just a further zoomed in view?
Correct.
Turning to Exhibit 130, is that the general area of the location?
Is that better?
Yeah, it looks to be, a lot of the riverway down there looks very similar to that, but you can see kind of out in the waterway, you can see that piece of sand out there. That's very consistent with that portion of the riverway. There's an island out there.
All right. And then flipping finally to Exhibit 131. We have a picture of a singular tree.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the background of Exhibit 131, there's a white tent. What is the white tent?
The white tent is where the human remains were located.
Okay. And now I'm going to, at some point during this investigation where you showed pictures of a young man hanging from a tree.
I at least remember him being next to the tree, I think with his foot up next to it, yes.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm going to show you what we've previously seen as Exhibits 123 and 124. Are one or both of those the pictures that you were shown in the course of this investigation of this tree?
Picture 123 is, yes. I do not recall 124.
Okay, fair enough. So picture 123, the one
I think I figured
up.
it out.
And in looking around that area,
I'm
did
excited.
you recognize this location?
Yeah, it appeared to be closer to the river from where we had been located at, where we had found the human remains.
Okay. And you found a tree that at least looked consistent with the tree pictured in Exhibit 123?
Yes, I was a forestry major at UW-Stevens Point, so I've been around trees a little bit, and I was able to look at the photograph and figure out it was an elm tree, or at least appeared to be an elm tree. And then there's a dot or a knob on the bottom of the tree that's very consistent with the photograph that you just showed me there.
Okay. Warden, I just have one or two basic questions about, that white tent area, the place where the human remains were found, how far away is it from that tree? Roughly.
Roughly, I'd say approximately 100, maybe 120 yards.
Okay. Does the DNR have a dive team?
No.
Does the DNR ever have civilians participate in searches in the water in a diving capacity?
I don't know.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Good afternoon, Warden. I heard you use the word consistent when describing the tree in the photograph with the man and the tree that you found on the banks of the Wisconsin River. Is that right?
Yes.
So it's fair to assume that your testimony isn't that it is absolutely the same tree. Your testimony is that it's consistent.
It looks to be the same tree to me.
But you used the word consistent, correct?
If that's what you're saying, then I probably did, yes.
You don't know for certain that that's the same tree.
I can't say for certain that it's the same tree, but it looks to me like it is the same tree.
Now can you say that
Is
that
that the
photograph
tree?
was taken very close in time to when you saw the tree?
Which photograph are you talking about?
The photograph of the young man that you compared to the trees in the area.
I don't know when that photograph was taken. I think I had been told maybe it was like a year before, but I don't recall for sure.
So your information as to when that photograph was taken comes from what you were told, not in your tree analysis skills, correct?
Can you repeat that question, please?
Sure.
He's not a
The
fan.
tree that you found that's consistent to the tree in the photograph. You don't know whether that photograph was taken the same year as you found that tree or a different year that you found the tree based on what you were able to observe on the tree that you found, correct?
Correct. The trees don't have dates on them. I would not be able to see exactly when the picture was to everything else. So, yeah, no.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused and released?
He may. And would you like me to collect the exhibits?
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Should I collect the exhibits?
I think we should. Yes, go ahead, counsel. If you can pass the booklets back down, counsel will collect those.
That's funny.
Thank you.
Can you all
Yeah,
see the
we'll
quotes
keep them
coming up?
there for now.
Hopefully.
We won't get them confused with exhibits. For the moment.
All right, the state calls Kevin Gruber to the stand.
Yay! There's got to be a better way to do it, but for right now, this works.
Good afternoon, sir. Hi. If you're able to do so safely and responsibly, preferably we could testify without our mask if you were comfortable with that.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Give him the old
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name and spell both your first and last name for the record?
Kevin Gruber, Kevin Gruber.
How are you employed?
I work full-time for the city of Middleton as a paramedic, and I work part-time for the Dane County Sheriff's Office Tactical Response Team as a medic for them.
Okay. And were you working in your capacity as part of the Tactical Response Team as a medic on July 14th of 2021?
Yes, I believe that's the date.
Okay. And on that day, did you participate in a search near the Roxbury area?
Yes.
How would you describe that search? How many coworkers were out there, and what were you guys tasked with?
So the entire team was tasked that day with a search of that wooded area. There's roughly 30 people on our team with the other medics and the rest of the sheriff's deputies. And that morning there were some additional personnel
I feel
too.
like
I don't know
they
if
weren't
there were
needed.
other sheriff's deputies from other counties, but there was some DNR wardens there as well to help with that search.
And I mean, how did this search occur? Did you guys walk arm in arm, spread out?
No, hand in
something
hand, and they
different?
skipped
So
down the
in the
road.
morning, everybody that was involved that day kind of gathered in that area, and then we were briefed on what we were going to be doing that day, and they kind of instructed us to break down into some smaller groups or teams, and then methodically search this wooded area that they wanted us to look for any sort of evidence that could pertain to this case.
And you described it as a wooded area. So trees, was the grass short, high, something else?
Yeah, there's lots of trees. It's right off of the Wisconsin River, so there's plenty of water around too, little pockets of ponds and stuff like that. I don't think the grass was really too long that day, but plenty wooded, yes.
Plenty wooded.
And I'm about to approach you, and I'm going to show you exhibits 132 through 138.
I'm about to approach you.
Not today, Satan.
Because these are kind of detailed photos, we're going to end up giving the jury these little booklets. So I'm not only going to ask you to describe the photos, I'm going to ask you to tell me whether or not the photos in these booklets are the same as these photos. So if you just want to look briefly and maybe give one sentence as a group as to what 132 through 138 describe.
So there are photos of what we found that day when we were doing our woods searching.
Okay, and do they appear to be true and accurate depictions of what you observed that day?
That is what I observed that day, yes.
I would move exhibits 132 through 138 into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
They are received.
All right, now I will move the pictures, but I'd like you to compare the picture. Is 132 that I'm showing you the same as 132 in the booklet?
It is.
And I have them backwards. 133, the same?
It is.
134,
Yes.
135,
Yes.
136,
Yes.
137,
Yes.
and finally 138.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I will let you have these, and I will pass out exhibits for the jury. Okay, you don't need to do that. Okay, counsel has one. I'll give one to the judge. And
Naturally, folks, the same
And
advisement
we will
and
do
admonition
half here,
applies
and I'll
to
start
these
half in the
exhibits.
back up here.
Oh, I think no, I'm still hearing it.
Everybody get one? Please describe exhibit 132 to the jury.
This is a picture of the grassy wooded area, the area that we were searching that day along the Wisconsin River.
Okay. And why don't we move on to exhibit 133? What are we looking at here?
This looks like the area where we found the stuff in the pictures. It's maybe like the first part of where we initially found the stuff in the pictures.
And did you first see what you found, smell it, or something else?
My first indication in the area was the smell.
Okay. Let's turn to exhibit 134. How would you describe exhibit 134?
This is just a kind of a different view of, there was almost a little separation between the two different places where we found the stuff that we were looking for.
All right. Exhibit 135.
So this is a closer up picture of the first item that we found that was in that area that day.
Okay. And turn the page to 136.
And this is a close-up picture of the kind of the second items that we found that day searching that wooded area.
And what was the distance, if any, between what you found in Exhibit 135 and Exhibit 136?
A rough estimate of maybe 30 yards.
Okay. All right, let's turn to 137. Is that the same thing that we were looking at in Exhibit 135?
Correct.
And again, 138, just a different view.
Correct.
What did you do once you and your team had found these parts?
So we were, as we're searching the wooded areas, we're spread out to cover more ground, but, within sight of each other and making sure that we're, doing the methodical search. Once we encountered these and decided that it was not, that it was maybe something of interest, then I immediately called our team commander and alerted him that there was something here that the detectives should probably come take a look at. So then we kind of just stopped so we didn't disturb the area anymore and had more people come down to take over.
And were you part of the team that marked the area with flags or no?
I don't remember whose idea that was, but there was kind of this path along the wooded area that was easier to get in and out of instead of walking around. So we did a couple of us put some flags in to mark an area that we all came in at the same point.
And is that an attempt to disrupt the scene as little as possible?
That was our thoughts, yeah.
Okay. And how would you describe what you found?
Initially, there was, the smell of it, and then as we got closer, we'll use picture 137. That morning when we were told to go search, we weren't given specifics as to what we were searching for, just anything of interest. It being a wooded area, it was not immediately apparent what that would have been, a smaller piece. So that's when another member that was out searching kind of went closer, and at first we couldn't quite determine what that piece was because it was separated from the picture in, it was like 30 yards, I said, from 136. We didn't see that first. We saw first in the 137, so it wasn't immediately apparent what it was until we found the other piece that was more apparent as to what that would be.
And what do you believe it was?
Body parts. Okay. Looks like a foot and a leg.
Okay. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused and released from his subpoena?
Yes and yes.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll take the exhibits.
Thank you.
And we'll collect the booklets at this time, folks.
State's final witness for today is Deputy Jim Plenty.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good morning, sir. If you're able to if you're able to safely and responsibly testify without a mask, that would be our preference if you're comfortable doing so. Okay. Thank you.
And Deputy, this is the first time you're testifying in this trial, right?
Correct.
But not the last.
Correct.
Okay, so I would ask you to state both your first and last name for the record and spell both.
James Plenty, James, Plenty, Plenty.
Is his partner's
How are you
name
employed?
Gooden?
Employed with the Dane County Sheriff's Office as a deputy sheriff.
And were you employed as such on July 14th of 2021?
Correct.
And on that day, were you assigned to a search or to assist with the search in the Roxbury area in Dane County?
Correct.
And at some point, some body parts are found. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. How would you describe what was found?
On this DNR property in the township of Roxbury, it was discovered that there was, in one location, 3 items that were all in the exact same location, probably touching each other. One appeared to be a right leg from the foot all the way up to near where the hip socket would be on that leg. The other 2, one was a left foot that was severed just above the ankle, and the other item, I wasn't able to identify what it was, but later was identified as being the upper thigh.
And were you part of the process of collecting these remains that were found on that DNR land?
I was present, and I had taken photo documentation of those items as that happened.
Can you describe the process? How were they collected?
The medical examiner's office had completed the collection of them. It was an individual from the ME's office, an investigator, along with Dr. Rogalska, that had done the collection. The items were collected and placed into a body bag and then sealed.
Okay. And then somebody from your department remained with those remains until they were arrived at the ME's office?
I had stayed on scene to continue to document, so I wasn't part of that.
But generally that's the practice, is that somebody from your department maintains and goes to the ME's office.
I'm not sure if we would do that all the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But it would be sealed, and the ME's office would have custody of remains from any type of scene.
Absolutely, along with the crime scene unit that would have gone and documented the scene. And you were part of that crime scene unit of taking photos in this case?
Correct.
Okay. Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you.
May this witness be excused for today?
You may. Can we approach?
Yes, I understand. Can I let him go?
Yeah, just a minute.
No, you cannot.
I understand you are still under subpoena, but you're excused for today, sir. Thank you.
Not allowed. Well, that's the end of that one, huh? That was day 4. Let's move into day 5, shall we?
Let's begin. Attorney Brown.
Still called Jessime Torres.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Good morning. I would ask if you believe you can do so safely and responsibly if you could testify without a mask this morning. Is that all right with you?
Yes, that is.
Go ahead and remove your mask then, please. Thank you. Go right ahead.
Good morning. Please state and spell your name for us.
Good morning. My name is Jessamy Torres, spelled Jessamy. Torres is Torres.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a lieutenant with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
Could you tell us what the role of a lieutenant is, and perhaps in contrast to, we've already heard from maybe some deputies and some detectives. What is a lieutenant?
So a lieutenant is a supervisor over the deputies, detectives, sergeants. And in my opinion, my role as a supervisor is to assist the people that are doing the job, help them in any way that I can to do the best job that they can under those circumstances.
In early July of last year, were you asked to kind of perform in that role as a lieutenant regarding a few days of a search of the Irwin Road property here in Dane County?
Yes, I was.
And was that in relation to the homicides of Bart and Krista Halderson?
Yes.
What was your role as one of these people out there who is maybe higher ranking? What was your role on the property?
Well, so I was out there 2 different days, and my role was just kind of to be the overall supervisor of the scene. Both days that I was present at the Irwin Road property, I primarily interacted with the property owners. They were very distraught and emotional. So I spent a lot of the majority of my time talking with them and trying to keep them calm so that the detectives and the deputies on scene could do their jobs.
So while we're going to hear probably a lot today from people who found things on the property, you weren't one of those people out physically digging through things most of the time?
Most of the time, correct.
Okay. What days, first of all, let's start with, I think Detective Baverstock testified that the torso was found on the 8th. How long was the property kept, and when was it finally released back to Cress as out of the custody of the Dane County Sheriff's Department?
So we turned the property back over to Cress on Monday, July 12th.
Okay, so it was the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. At some points those days, the Sheriff's Department was out there from the finding of the torso to the release. It was within your purview or within your custody?
Yes.
Okay. And the property itself, could you describe the general property for us? I think the jury's seen pictures, but what was your view of the property?
So it was a rural property. There was a main residential building. There was an outbuilding, which would be best described as a large barn. There was a smaller outbuilding that held chickens. And then the property consisted of acreage, I would estimate, I don't know the exact number, but maybe 30 to 35 acres of varying topographical design. There was a large field with overgrowth that was maybe 12, 15 acres, and then surrounding that was wooded property.
And if we look at this map, which has been admitted into evidence as exhibit number 57, when you talk about the field that was overgrowth, are you talking about this part of the image that's on the right side?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes.
I think you said you were out there for 2 days. Were there 2 main days of searches after the initial finding of things, the day of the torso and the garbage bin and things of that sort on the 8th?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. After the torso and the garbage bin were found by Detective Baverstock on the 8th, were there 2 primary days of searching that occurred after that you were involved in?
Yes, 2 days that I was involved in. Saturday, July 10th in the morning, and then Monday, July 12th in the morning.
And could you give us let's start with, I suppose, just because we talked about it, the field. Was that field search, that grassy field?
How did we go about doing that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask when this picture was taken?
Sure, and those are law enforcement vehicles out there, so sometime later, but while law enforcement was out there.
So the one field, I had actually spoke with Cress about it. She was letting it grow natural to try and bring back bee populations. So there was a large portion that had, I would say, knee to waist high natural growth. There was some small shrubberies, there was thorns, there was tall grass. So on Saturday, July 10th was when we did a line search of that area.
And what do you mean by a line search?
So everyone that was there to assist that day, we briefed ahead of time out in the field near this barn. And then what we did was we lined up. We tried to maintain an equal distance amongst each officer, not too far, but not too close. And then we just systematically walked started at one end and walked in a line down till we got to the other end. If anyone saw anything that was of interest, they would say stop, and we'd all stop. If the line ever kind of got off canter where one side was, we would stop and reline up. And so we'd keep walking till we got to the end, kind of turn the line, rotate the line around where the last person was, and go back up.
Based on what you know or any of your knowledge, was anything of evidentiary value found in that big field?
No.
Going to maybe more the wooded portion, were the woods searched to the extent you could?
Yes, it was my understanding that the woods had been searched prior, that there had been detectives that had gone through there. But we also did, as we searched the field part, we also made our line kind of overlap with the wooded part, and it was common to, when we would turn, overlap, have someone overlap the last where that end person had gone to make sure that we aren't potentially missing anything.
And absent what Detective Baberstock and the other detectives have maybe talked about finding the first day on the 8th, was anything found in the woods in your line search?
No, not on the day that I was there.
Now, there was a residence, a house on this property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was that home searched at some point?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So that home was also searched on Monday, July 12th.
And the homeowner, was the homeowner there, Cress?
Yes, Cress was.
And was anything of evidentiary value related ultimately to the case found in the house?
No items of evidence were collected other than photographic evidence.
The driveway leading all the way through, I know it looked like a long, windy driveway down to the road. Was that area in general searched?
Yes, that would have been on Saturday, the 10th, when we did the land and the property search. We also covered that the land all the way down to the road, and we even walked along the roadway.
And I think we'll hear from that deputy later, but it'd be fair to say something of evidentiary value was found in that driveway up to the road search, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there's a shed, a barn on this property. Was that barn searched?
Yes, it was.
Can you tell me, based on what you know, how many folks were searching it and maybe how they go about something like that?
So on Monday, July 12th, there was 6, myself, and then 6 deputies, well, 2 deputies and 4 detectives. So we briefed ahead of time, and the way that barn was searched was all 6 went in. I was in and out, asking if there's anything I could do to help or assist, but then also back at the residence with Cress. But the way the search was completed, as any search that I've been involved with, everyone coordinates and talks amongst themselves, and will start in an area and communicate with their partners. I'll start here, you start here, we'll meet in the middle, and they just kind of systematically go through the building, doing their best to cover searching every area that they can.
Can you describe this barn?
Yes, it was a large barn. I don't know the exact dimensions, but I would say it could probably have fit in maybe 12 cars. Inside the barn, there was a SUV parked. There were 2 tractors, the ones that have kind of a single-seat tractor, farm tractor. There was also a workbench area. There was a lot of tools. In the center of the barn, there was piled high, various boxes and Tupperware containers, not Tupperware, what's the word I'm looking for? The plastic boxes like you put your decorations in. And then there was also some high shelving along that had things stored there.
Wait for it.
A lot of old dusty tools.
And I think you mentioned that, the property released back to Cress on the 12th?
Yes.
When you left on the 12th, were you comfortable with the property had been searched at that time and giving it back to the homeowner?
Yes, I was comfortable that we'd done the best that we could, and had there been any question about, for me, whether we should stay longer, I would have told Cress we're going to stay longer.
Sure. At that stage in the investigation, were there other areas that needed to be searched by maybe even some of the same sheriff's deputies that were there?
Yes.
Just in general, what types of areas were you aware of that ultimately had to be searched?
My understanding, in addition to that property on Early Wind, there was the primary residence. There was some wooded DNR land. There was waterways. And then there was also a large landfill.
Sure. Were you later made aware a couple months after your search that the homeowner found a rifle in that barn?
Yes, I was.
And possible you missed it in the original search?
Yes.
Any explanation or what could you say about that?
What I could say about that is that I'm confident that the detectives and the deputies I was supervising that day were doing the best they could. It was a vast property. There was a lot of items in there. And if it was missed during our search, it was oversight or human error.
Sure. Sometimes searches aren't 100% effective.
I'd say we always do the best we can, but it would be naive to say we get 100% every time. You know, we try our best.
Sure. No further questions?
Cross-examination.
Yes, thank you. Lieutenant Torres, from July 8th to
Ma'am,
July
smack
12th,
your lips
I believe
one
that's when you
more
said
time.
that the property was under your custody or Dane County Sheriff's custody. Is that correct?
To the best of my understanding, I wasn't there when the scene was initiated. So my only involvement with the case was on the July 10th and July 12th.
As your role as lieutenant, would you be able to know if the property was under, well, let me backtrack. So we learned earlier last week that during the search of the Oak Springs location, there was constantly someone from law enforcement that was guarding that location. Are you aware if that same thing happened here in the Erwin location?
I'm not familiar with the location that you just referenced, but what I can say is the Erwin location from when the official word was that we were guarding it as a crime scene, we staffed a deputy there 24/7.
So it was constantly being looked at from the time you determined it was a crime scene to the time you released it on the 12th?
Yes, I can say we constantly had a deputy there.
And your role in lieutenant, if something was found, something of evidentiary value was found in that location, were you informed of that?
At that time?
Yes.
Yes. The only item of evidentiary value that was collected either of the 2 days would have been on Saturday the 10th by Detective Dan Feeney.
Okay. Now, drawing your attention to the search of the barn, it's been called a barn or a shed. You said you were there that day, correct?
I was.
It's a lot of things.
Approximately how many hours were devoted to searching this barn?
I can't say for certain how many hours we were in the barn, but we arrived at that property probably about 8 a.m. and I believe the time that we all left, that the last law enforcement left, was about 11:30.
So 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. or p.m.?
A.m.
And could you describe a little bit more about how the search in the barn was conducted? You told us earlier about a line search and kind of gave us a detailed explanation on how that was conducted. Could you do something like that for the search of the
Can you
barn?
all still hear me okay?
Sure. So whenever deputies and detectives have to search a big building like that, they coordinate amongst themselves and they walk in and they communicate with each other. I'll start here, you start there, we'll meet in the middle, for example. So under that day,
I just want to check that my mic was still working, and it is. Yay!
again, I was in and out, so I wasn't directly watching everyone that was searching the entire time. But I do know, and I did observe the deputies and detectives communicating in that typical way of, I've searched this area, okay, now this is the area we have to do next, and moving through the building like that.
And then, did you feel like a thorough search of that barn was conducted that day?
At that day and that time, I felt as though we had done the best that we could to find evidence.
So then later that day on the 12th was when the property was released back to the property owner, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And nothing of evidentiary value was located in that property until later in October, I believe, correct?
That's my understanding, but I was not involved in the case after July 12th.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
One moment, Judge.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Nothing further. The witness will be released but remaining under subpoena.
Oh, so you're excused, but you remain under
Yes.
subpoena and are not released yet from your subpoena, so don't talk about the case, but you are free to go, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
today.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know how to fix all this.
State calls Deputy Eric Schneider to the stand. I just want to go to Randy.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good morning, Deputy.
Good morning.
If you feel you can do so safely and responsibly, testifying without your mask would be the preference here, if you're able to do that.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much. Go right ahead, counsel.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record, spelling both your first and last names?
Deputy Eric Schneider, ERIKSCHNEIDER.
How are you employed?
I'm employed with the Dane County Sheriff's Office as a patrol deputy out of the Southeast Precinct and a member of the Dane County Sheriff's Office Crime Scene Unit.
Tell me about that. What does that mean, that you're a member of the Dane County Sheriff's Crime Scene Unit?
My full-time position is patrol, but we also have some people that assist the two primary crime scene unit deputies, Greg Leatherberry and Jim Plenty. So if they are unavailable or there's a particularly large or complicated scene, I will come out and I will work with them.
Have you gone through any training to become part of the crime scene unit?
I have.
Can you just briefly describe that for the jury?
There's a state crime lab evidence school that I attended, a 5-day week-long school. There's an additional state lab photography course. I've done additional training, a buried body course that we put on ourselves. Off the top of my head, that's additional training.
And as part of that training, learning how to collect items of evidence in a way that is both safe but also preserves the evidence?
Yes.
All right, I think I will ask you a little bit about that individually. I'm now going to approach you with some photos, exhibit 144 through 157.
That's what I want to know. Bring
In
it.
this case in particular, one of the ways in which you worked as a crime scene unit deputy was at the Irwin property.
Yes.
Could you just briefly look through exhibits 144 through 157? And as a group, would you describe exhibits
Which
144 through
I want to know
157
which one you're
as
talking about.
photographs of the Irwin Road property during the search?
Yes.
Or at least some of them.
Yes.
There's many more.
Oh,
Do they appear to be
dear.
true and accurate photographs?
Yes.
I would
Oh,
move
no.
144 through 157 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received.
And I will leave them up here in case you need to reference them. But what I'm going to play on the screen will also show up on your little screen. Okay.
Hugh Laurie
So
is
how
the
would you
guy,
describe
not
Exhibit
that guy.
108 on your screen? Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
Now, the property in question had a large barn or a shed. The immediate area around it was mowed, and beyond that was a large area of like prairie and a wood line. This is a section of the mowed grass butting up against that prairie to the south of the barn.
And do you see an oil drum in that photograph?
Yes.
How would you describe Exhibit 109?
There was a cut, I think you see there an odd-shaped cut on the north side of that oil drum, and inside were some items.
And 110 shows some of those items inside?
Yes, a saw blade, a scissors, and a smaller saw with like a chrome or a metal handle. And a bolt cutters.
All right, and that's 112.
Or shears, yes.
All right, how did you package these various items? So let's start first with 139, which is the pruning shears. How did you collect and package them?
Not going for it.
So at that time, I had CSI Greg Leatherberry with me. He made a determination we were going to remove the items, and it just so happened that my arm span was long enough that I could reach them because they were deep inside the oil drum. So just using regular nitrile evidence gloves, I reached in, I was able to pull them out one at a time without touching areas that looked like they had stains.
I can admit when I'm wrong, but I can't this time. French Stewart for sure. I'll go with French Stewart.
We laid them out on paper, and then
I admit I'm wrong.
CSI Leatherberry collected them in whatever packaging he used.
And why do you wear gloves?
To preserve the evidence, to keep it from either losing evidence or us from contaminating it.
And do you change your gloves in between touching different items?
Depending, yes.
And every
That's a lot of gloves.
Well, I'm going to approach you now with Exhibit 139. These are the pruning shears. Yeah. Okay.
You can. I see it. It's right there. Hi.
And Exhibit 139 has various stickers on it. Are some of those stickers, though, identification stickers from your office?
Yes.
And why is that done?
Anything that is taken and put into evidence will
YouTube.
have a unique tag number cataloging it.
And this appears to have all the correct stickers.
It does.
I'm going to ask you to open Exhibit 139. There. So. And Deputy, you're going to write a report after testifying here today. Is that fair? Because you are opening up evidence?
Yes.
And why do you do that?
It's just to preserve the chain of custody.
So anytime anybody opens up a box or an envelope that has evidence tape on it, a report is written about that encounter with the evidence.
Yes.
There's also a little knife if you prefer that.
Would this be a good point for the stipulation on chain of custody?
Yes, that's fine.
As the deputy is opening this item of evidence, with regard to much of the physical evidence here, the parties have entered into a stipulation, which I'll read to you at this time. Once again, in this case, the district attorney and defendant's attorneys have stipulated to the following facts. Throughout the investigation into the deaths of Bart and Krista Halderson, many pieces of evidence were collected from the Halderson home, the Earlywine Road property, and the Roxbury, Wisconsin River land. These items of evidence were securely transported to various locations, including the medical examiner's office, the crime lab, to police evidence lockers, and ultimately to the courtroom. In some cases, there is a dispute. that the evidence was not handled correctly, or that there is some dispute to the authenticity of the evidence. That is not the case here. The parties stipulate that there is no dispute to the chain of custody or authenticity of these items of evidence. The parties stipulate these items have remained in secure custody since being collected by police and have not been tampered with or altered in any way outside of the testing performed by the experts involved in this case. These items of evidence include the following. Number one, the human remains located at Early Wine Road and in the town of Roxbury. Number two, all items collected from the Early Wine Road property. Number three, all items collected from the Halderson home in Windsor, Wisconsin. Number four, all items of evidence tested by the Wisconsin State Crime Lab for DNA, fingerprints, footwear impressions, ballistics, and trace fit testing. And finally, number five, all swabs of purported DNA and blood, including the DNA sample taken from Chandler Halderson and Mitchell Halderson. Go ahead.
Deputy, could you please describe Exhibit 139? You can unwrap it further if you need to.
It's a bat.
Do you want me to remove it from the ties as well?
Why don't you just describe it?
Puppy.
The item in question is the large pruning shears, I guess they are, with red paint on the handle.
And do those appear to be the same or in substantially the same condition as when you retrieved them from the Irwin Road property?
Yes.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 139 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received. It may be published.
All right. Are they connected to the box or just no? Okay. Deputy, why don't you pick those up out of the box?
You know he has.
Watch your step, but walk them in front of the jury, please.
And in a way, he is.
All right. If you want to put them back in the box. And Deputy, I'm now approaching you with what has been marked as Exhibit 140. Could you please open up Exhibit 140?
Hey, everybody, listen. I forgot water. I'm dying. I will be right back. And back.
How would you describe Exhibit 140?
Exhibit 140 is the smaller saw that we saw in the picture of the oil drum with the chrome colored handle.
And is it in substantially the same condition as when you collected it?
Yes.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 140 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
And I would ask that you repeat the same procedure and show the jury.
It's still tied in. Would you like me to remove it all the way?
Yeah, if it's not too difficult.
Attorney Raymond, I wonder if we move the water pitcher, if it might give the deputy a little more room.
Oh, absolutely.
It's been 84 years.
It's okay.
That was the sound of a tool chest falling down the stairs.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
And if you want to place that one back in the box, 140. And I'll give you a minute to change your gloves. Here's a waste can. Now I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 141. Could you please open up the box and tell us what 141 is?
I'm gonna fast forward. Da da da, it's the broken saw blade from that oil drum. The same condition as he collected it. Entered in with no objection. Displaying it to the jury. Close the box and change your gloves. Do we have anything else we're gonna show? Oh, gonna change the 142 we're opening. What is it? It's a bag inside of a box. It's a bag inside of a box. This is a process. How would you describe it? It's a handle from inside the drum. Moved into evidence. No objection is received. That's the last piece of the physical. Remove your gloves. That would be fine. Thank you. Thank you.
Deputy, did you participate at any point in the search of the barn or shed, as it's been called, on the Irwin Road property?
Yes.
And would you describe Exhibit 144 as displayed on your screen?
Exhibit 144 is the large barn or shed in question that you're talking about.
The barn or shed, that is the question.
And Exhibit 145, what does it display?
A portion of the interior of the barn.
There's lots of stuff in the barn.
There is a lot of stuff in the barn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Exhibit 146. What does 146 display?
146 is probably the eastern portion of the barn. The two entrances face north-south to the barn.
Fire.
So if you're coming in from the north, which faces the house, to your left would be this area.
And 147, what is that display?
147 is a silver gray colored tarp that was located, I believe the night of the 8th, when the first night we were at the property.
So that was the night that the torso was discovered?
Correct.
And is it fair to say this was found during like a cursory search of the barn?
Yes, while we were waiting for the search warrant
Did
to
he
be
say
finalized
while
with
we
the
were
medical
mating?
examiner's office out there, and the director, Erman, had his canine. So while we were waiting, we thought we would utilize the canine while we had it to see if it could find anything, and it led us directly to that tarp.
And of course, at this point, Crest had given you folks permission to be on their
Yes.
property and search. All right. 148, what is that display?
That is the same tarp after we removed it from where we located it.
Let me just go back and ask you one question. The dog that medical director Erman had, was that a cadaver canine dog?
I believe his is, yes.
How could you forget something like
149,
that?
what is displayed on Exhibit 149?
The same tarp, just from a different angle. You can see the beginning of some red staining there.
150?
We're starting to slowly unfold it, and again, more red staining. So I think at that point or shortly thereafter, we stop, because we believe it has evidentiary value and wouldn't want to ruin it or contaminate it on scene.
So why did you stop?
That should be something that's processed in a more controlled environment. We had a lot going on there, so we weren't going to unravel that in the middle of a dirt floor and begin processing it there. That's something that'll be done later in a lab.
Sure, so it was sent to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab?
I believe that one
Oh,
was.
sure. Put it on the lab. Why not? I'm kidding. I know he has to.
Yep, okay.
Excuse me, secrets don't make friends.
I'm actually just going to touch the bag. So, Deputy, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 143. There are various stickers. Are there stickers on Exhibit 143 from your office?
Yes.
And do any of those stickers tell you what is inside of Exhibit 143?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, and do those all appear to be in order?
They do.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 143 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
You're not going to open 143 at this time.
Wasn't me.
I will put it over here, though.
You're gonna need a Yeti cooler.
And Deputy, were you made aware in October of 2021 that after the Sheriff's Office had finished their investigation of the Irwin Road property, the homeowner found a rifle?
Yes.
Okay. How would you describe Exhibit 151?
An interior portion of the shed. As you can see, there's just a lot of clutter and various objects.
152?
That'd be the western side of the barn.
That's a
There's
tractor.
a large trailer, and around it you can just see all kinds of various items and clutter.
It's not a trailer.
153?
That'd be the northwest corner of the barn. A large number of tools and old saw blades and that kind of stuff.
As a member of the crime scene unit, do buildings with this amount of material in it pose any obstacles in doing a search?
They do, particularly at this time. Our resources were at a premium as we had a primary crime scene now at the scene of the residence in Windsor.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 154. Could you just briefly describe 154?
An overall shot of the size and interior of the barn.
155?
From that same corner, facing south across, you can see there's a second tractor behind that one and a vehicle near the entrance of the barn.
156?
More views are taken from across the other side inside the barn, just detailing rows of objects and items.
That barn is massive.
157?
A view looking north from the south entrance, looking back, and you can see the second trailer more clearly. And just a lot of piles of wood and debris.
Exhibit 70.
I see a gun.
This was taken in October after the
my little
owner
eye.
had been clearing out the barn. Objects were removed, and you can see there is now a black rifle propped up alongside those boards.
And I'm using the laser pointer. Deputy, can you turn your head? Am I identifying the right area where the rifle is located?
It's a good thing I'm not a cat.
That rifle was found behind some boards.
Yes.
172? Or, I'm sorry, 72.
Just another closer view of the rifle. I just took overall and photographs and continuing all the way up to the rifle itself.
And what is picture 73 a picture of?
A close-up of the rifle, which shows the serial number on the upper portion.
If you want to glove up. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Oh, what are we opening now?
91.
Oh, 291.
This time that you open Exhibit 291 for yourself and view.
Oh, I bet you it's the gun. Open.
Involved in this part. He's responsible for the security of this room, so anytime, whether for evidentiary purposes or not, there's a firearm brought into this space, he takes a keen interest and role in that for everyone's safety and security.
Deputy, could you just tell me
Is he going to point it?
that you
Like
collected
poop?
at the Irwin Road property hidden behind a board?
Correct. It is a Norinco SKS 76 by 39 caliber rifle.
And is it in the same or substantially same condition as when you collected it?
Same or substantially same?
Yes, it has a red dot sight and a camouflage colored strap on it.
I would move Exhibit 290 minute.
All right, so we've moved it into evidence. They're showing it to the
Exhibit
jury.
291 out of the box. And
Nope, they
display
haven't taken it
carefully
out of the
for
box
jury.
yet. Be careful, sir. You're gonna become a meme if you're not careful, sir. I shot the sheriff. I shot the Chazzle, but I did not shoot the jury. I shot the Chazzle.
Put it back in the box. Randy, did you want to
What's
take
in the
ownership
box?
of it, or? Okay. Scissors. Yeah, perfectly closed. Deputy, did you attend the autopsy of Mr. Halderson's torso?
I did.
And that occurred at the medical examiner's office?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 553 and 554. I'm not going to ask you to remove these from the boxes or anything, but based on the markings that are on 553 and 554, could you please identify them?
Tic Tacs.
Item 553 is a jacket and fragment that was retrieved from the rear neck area of the torso. And item 554 is additional fragments from a bullet retrieved from the abdomen.
And those were retrieved from the torso by the medical examiner during the autopsy.
Correct.
I would move exhibits 553 and 554 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Good morning, Deputy.
What's in the fucking box?
Good morning.
Now, you, just so I'm clear, you searched this barn or shed at the Irwin address a couple of times?
There was an official search on the 12th that some detectives did, yes.
And there was a cursory search the night of the finding of the torso?
I wouldn't even call it a search, but yeah, like a walk around, and the canine went through it.
Were you there for both of these events?
Yes.
Did you participate in the search? And I understand the first one may not have been technically the kind of search we're talking about, but did you participate both times in looking for things in that shed?
I documented the search by photographing it. I did not search per se myself.
Now, the first time, how many people were looking around that barn?
You're talking the first night on the 8th?
Yes.
4 of us, I believe.
And the second time, how many people were looking around that barn?
Without looking at the log, I don't recall who was all there, maybe 6.
And each time before looking or before searching, is it fair to say that discussions were had and a plan was made as to how to do the search and what things in particular would be notable?
Yes.
So, for example, you might want to say, let's look for footprints or shoe impressions, correct?
As an example.
In this case, you knew about the torso with the gunshots before the
Language
second
alert.
search, correct?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that one strategy for the search would be to look for any firearms, correct?
Yes.
Now, I heard you say that resources were at a premium around the time of the second search. Did I get that correct?
Yes.
The sheriff's department, or you in particular, between that moment when resources were at a premium and October, when this firearm was found in the barn, you didn't go back to search further, correct?
I did not. I can't tell you if there were additional searches.
There's no sheriff's department rules or protocol that would prevent anyone from going back and searching again, correct?
Well, we would, I mean, if we were going to do that, we would either need the permission of the homeowner or an additional search warrant. Given the circumstances, we would procure another warrant anyway.
And you obtained both of those the first time, right?
When I was there, yes.
Now, you took possession of the firearm, the SKS that was found in that barn, correct?
Yes.
So you physically lifted it up from its location, is that right?
Yes.
Are you familiar with something called a flash suppressor?
No.
That's all I have, thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
Okay.
May this witness be excused
Yes.
and released?
No.
All right, you're excused from testifying further today, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good remainder of your day. And the next witness, please.
Stickles Dan Feeney.
Oh, here you go.
What's in the box? It's my dick in a box.
Oh man, I entertained myself.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good morning. If you're able to safely and responsibly testify without a mask, that would be our preference. Thank you very much.
Yes. Go right ahead. Good morning. Please state and spell your name for us.
My name is Dan Feeney. Dan, D-A-N, Feeney, F-E-E-N-E-Y.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a principal.
Detective with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been in that role?
Since May of 2021.
Early part of July 2021, were you asked to assist in the search of the Irwin Road property in reference to the homicides of Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson?
Yes, I was.
And what was your role in this search?
My role is searching the grounds on the Irwin Road property on foot.
Particularly, at some point were you asked to search maybe the driveway leading down to the road, that area?
Yes.
In which I found
sure
Corey
things. Did you find anything of evidentiary interest in this case?
doing nefarious
Yes, I found
things.
some items in the garbage can.
All right. I'm showing you what's been marked. In this case is exhibits number 158 through 167. Could you page through those real quick and just let me know when you're done, in general, what they are?
They're pictures. I mean,
These are the items that were located in the garbage can.
Possible?
At the Irwin Road address.
And what were those items that were of interest to you?
It was a grocery-style plastic bag containing some cleaning material. I believe it was white rags, as well as two Brillo pads inside of it.
And did you collect these items?
I did.
I think I've already moved all but two of them, but I'll move 158 through 167 into evidence and ask to publish them.
No objection.
They are received. They may be published. They should appear on the computer monitor directly in front of you, sir.
Starting with exhibit number 158, what are we looking at there?
You're looking at the garbage cans at the start of the driveway with the target bag located inside the garbage can in front of it.
And that target bag was, it's removed there. Was it in that location when you found it?
We're back to
the
target bag.
The garbage can to the right with the black lid.
And exhibit 159,
That is the cleanest
that garbage can?
Yes.
Garbage can I've ever
go back
seen.
to 158. When you found 158, was it the only item that was in that garbage can?
Yes, it was.
160, what are we looking
Which
at there?
recently happened again.
The bag was previously tied off, so we had opened it up to observe what was inside of the bag.
161, what is that?
That is the sticker that was on the outside of the target bag that has Melender, C as the owner, or excuse me, the person that would have picked up the property from Target. And I know from the investigation it's potentially Catherine Melender.
162, what are we looking at there?
This is the garbage bag, or the plastic bag inside of the target bag containing the white rags and Brillo pads.
There's a red substance there.
When
that we
this
can
stuff
see?
happens and they're
Yes.
found guilty,
What did that appear to be to you?
There was a large amount
we
of
should do
red
like
and
a
brownish
"This
substance,
is
which,
your
from my training experience, I
life"
recognize as potentially
for the
dried
criminals.
163, what am I looking at?
blood. Looking at the rags again with one of the Brillo pads.
You say Brillo pad kind of in the exact center where I'm pointing the laser up on the big screen. That's the Brillo pad?
Yes, sir.
Were those Brillo pads themselves stained or were they new?
No, they were used. They also had the similar brown
Right.
reddish staining on it as the rags did in the bag.
164, what are we looking at there?
Just the target bag that was the exterior bag with the rags located in.
Couple views of that, 165.
Same thing, yep.
166.
Interior of the bag.
167.
Interior as well.
When you collected these items, do they have any sort of smell to them?
Yes. Right when I opened up the bag, it was an immediate smell of what I described as cleaning material. The closest thing that came to my mind was like rubbing alcohol. And then it was just overtaken by a rancid, putrid smell.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Good morning.
No, thank you.
Morning.
As part of your role in this investigation at that Irwin Road
Someone
location,
gave him a Kit Kat.
you did canvass the area, correct?
I did.
Going from home to home, seeing if anyone had, for example, ring or surveillance video, correct?
I did, yes.
And just generally talking to people to see if they saw anything that might be helpful, correct?
Yes.
That's all, thank you.
Any redirect?
Wow.
It's a pretty rural area.
Yeah, it's very rural, yes.
Were there any direct next-door neighbors right across the street from the driveway?
No, slightly down the roadway.
Thank you. No further questions.
May this witness be excused?
Just excused.
You may be excused from further testifying today, sir. Thank you.
Woo! Woo! Let's make a transition. Ta-ha! Pa-ta-ha! Oh my goodness gracious. This guy. I met up with a friend of mine, Tony, today. Has a great band called Cultivated Mind. I might actually play a song real quick before we go because he's really good. And I think he'd be okay with it. And anyways, so while I'm looking it up, I was telling him about this case, and the more that I talked about it, the more I realized just how crazy it was. It's so hard to explain to somebody. This guy couldn't lie to save his life, was found out, and then on top of that, decided that since he couldn't get away with it, he was just gonna go ahead and kill his parents and then dismember them and then put them elsewhere. Oh boy, wow. All right, let's go ahead and I'll just play this song real quick for you guys. It's called Sunday School. It's the acoustic version, and it's by my buddy Tony, who I've known since college, and he's in a band called Cultivated Mind. You should look it up. All right, here we go.
Big up the Rising Vibes. Thanks again for having me. I'm Cultivated Mind, and this song is called Sunday School. I won't go to Sunday school no more, but I love God more than ever, yeah. You won't find me sitting on a Sunday morning with hypocrites and devils. No, no, all the ones who looked at I and I with scorn never called me brother. Ay, ay. The only thing they good for is keeping score and judging one another. Oh, yeah. Oh, mother, with your 5 crying youths, oh, they're gonna talk about you, oh, they chatting away. 5 children and no husband in your pew, oh, they gonna talk about you, oh, they chatting away. Never approving of the life you choose, oh, they gonna talk about you, oh, they chatting away. You went to church to get rid of your blues, and still they gonna talk about you, hey. So I don't go to Sunday school no more, but I love God more than ever, hey. You won't find me sitting on a Sunday morning with hypocrites and devils. No, no, all the ones who looked at I and I with scorn never called me brother, oh no. The only thing they good for is keeping score and judging one another. Oh no, no. Oh no, no, said I won't be led astray no more. Oh, 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 no, 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 said I won't be led astray no more. Oh conquerors and kings, a million slain, brothers and sisters all murdered in Jesus' name. How the Romans killed the Savior, Vatican are the shame. Johnny Rebel based the system on the mark of Cain. Remember, the bigger the smile, the larger the teeth. So beware of smiling preachers, but what lies underneath is a rotten old core, a greedy disease taught the kids on Sunday morning to further hypocrisy. Oh no, no. No, no, said I won't be led astray no more. Oh, oh, no, no. No, no, said I won't be led astray no more. Oh, oh, oh. It's why I never go to Sunday school. Hey. It's why I never go to Sunday school. Hey. Young man covered in tattoos, oh, they gonna talk about you. Hey, you got the wife of a whole different hue, oh, they gonna talk about you. They chatting away, never approving of the life you choose, oh, they gonna talk about you. They chatting away, you went to church to get rid of your blues, and still they gonna talk about you. Hey, hey. So I don't go to Sunday school no more, but I love God more than ever, yeah. You won't find me sitting on a Sunday morning with hypocrites and devils, oh no, no. All the ones who looked at I and I with scorn never called me brother, no, no. The only thing they good for is keeping score, judging one another, I say. Oh no, no. Oh no, no, said I won't be led astray no more. I said no, no, oh no, no, oh I won't be led astray no more. I'll never go to Sunday school.
So that's Cultivated Mind. Good grief, get it right, JT. Check him out. He's like on all the all the music stuff. You can follow him on Facebook too. Just search Cultivated Mind. You'll find him. He's flippin' talented. He's been talented since college. A lot of his stuff is one man, and he'll get up on stage with like piano, drum, trumpet, brass, guitar, and he'll loop all this stuff together and build the song in front of you. It's really flippin' cool. He's toured with Steel Pulse a couple of times. He's very reggae, East Coast style, just really good, really genuine dude. Anyways, check him out. Give him a hello and tell him I sent you. So definitely look up Cultivated Mind. Anyways, thank you all so very much for putting up with everything that's been going on with the change in the stream and all that kind of stuff. We'll probably still do StreamYard for some things, but I appreciated the fact that I wasn't blurry today for you all and for myself and everything else, because I always worry about that. I like to have a great product for you all. So, night court is, night court's adjourned. No night court tomorrow. We'll see how things are going next week. I am just so damn tired. And I really don't feel like burning out, because I love doing this and I love being with you all. So take care of yourself. Take care of your friends, your family, your community. Don't let anybody, I don't care who they are, I don't care how many follows they have, I don't care. Don't let anybody dull your sparkle. And shine on, you crazy diamonds. I will see you guys on Friday for the Hey Ho Show. Bye, everybody.